Today in the church we venerate the life of St Augustine, who on the surface appears to be the most unlikely candidate for sainthood. But as we know, God sees things in people that we just don't. Augustine is one of our greatest theologians and a doctor of the church. He wrote 20,000 pages. His most notable work is The City of God and Confessions. And Confessions is the first autobiography of the Western world. Now, we can't speak about the life of Augustine without his mother, St Monica, a dearly beloved saint. St Monica was married to a pagan man called Patricius, who is said to have had a very hot temper, so she had many burdens to deal with in her domestic life. In 354 AD, Augustine is born, and very early on shows signs of a thirst for knowledge and academia. Much to his mother's dismay, however, he showed very little to no interest in the Catholic faith. Instead, he went on to explore pagan philosophies and ended up joining a Gnostic heretical group called the Manichaeans. He later became a teacher of rhetoric and journeyed his way to Carthage. Now, Carthage was a city full of philosophical debate. However, it was completely devoid of spiritual ethics. So, he fell into a life of debauchery, pride, lustful endeavours, and worldly things. However, his mother, St Monica, never ceased to stop praying. In fact, in his book Confessions, he states that not one day went by where she did not approach the altar with tears. He actually states that his mother experienced greater pains ensuring his spiritual salvation than she did birthing him. Eventually, Augustine, career-driven, would move to Rome, and then eventually Milan, and his mother followed him there. There he met with St Ambrose, who had a profound effect on his theology. Augustine was stricken with a spiritual imbalance until one day he heard a childlike voice say to him, "Take up and read." Now, I don't know about you, if you've ever had a bit of scripture that just jumps out at you and does something to your heart. For him, it was Romans 13:13. He said that he was speaking directly to him. His conversion shortly followed. After his conversion, he actually wanted to go and live a humble monastic life, but we know that the Lord doesn't like our plans. So instead, he was ordained a bishop and became our greatest theologian. And his mother, God bless her heart, her prayers were answered, and she passed on a happy, peaceful woman. I will leave you with a prayer at the start of Confessions that reads, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." Thanks for listening. God bless.